Hey guys, today is Friday, October 2nd. It's 10:11 p.m. and the temperature is 11 degrees Celsius. I'm here in downtown Toronto, walking south on Bathurst Street. And the plan for this walk is to head down to King Street West, where I'll walk east over to John Street. Then I'll head up to Queen Street and over to Yonge Street, where I think I'll walk north and finish up at either Dundas Station or maybe College Station. I haven't really decided yet. Apparently the second wave of the coronavirus is upon us. So I thought I'd come down and see how the nightlife was doing in the city. It was fairly busy the last few times I traveled through this area. However, the province has put new restrictions in place that do limit bars and restaurants to some degree. Mainly being last call is now at 11 p.m. and the bars must close by 12. So normally at this hour, this area would just be starting to get going, but as you can see, it's not that busy at all, and I'm sure the cold weather has something to do with it as well. And I think there's live music going on at the Wheat Chief over there. So this is King Street West. I'm now heading east on. This is sort of the city's main nightlife area. A few weeks ago, these patios were quite packed, as were the sidewalks.
Put your glass down, brother.
These new restrictions were put in place about a week ago, and also strip clubs aren't allowed to operate any longer. The restaurant isn't even open.
That's where Daddy goes.
That's the guy.
This is Portland Street. I'm just going to cross over to the north side for a bit. The city did recently shut down 3 bars and restaurants on King Street due to violations of the safety protocols. They were, if I can recall, King Taps, which is over at First Canadian Place. I won't be walking by that. It's a bit too far to the west of here. Another one was called Marble, which I think is just down here on the left. And there was a Mexican restaurant over in Restaurant Row. And earlier in the summer, a bar called Goldie, which is on the south side of the street, was closed down for COVID violations. I think they had a rather large party and exceeded their capacity limits. I think as part of the new measures in place, restaurants and bars are only allowed to have 100 people. I don't think there's any consideration towards the actual size of the venue, which doesn't really make sense to me. There can be no more than 6 people seated to a table. And I think exercise gyms and fitness centers are limited to 50 people. And banquet halls and event centers have been limited as well. The biggest change, though, is this early last call and forced 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. closure of these establishments. Have a good night. There's a nice view of the CN Tower with the moon up behind it at least.
I'm literally LA.
It's certainly weird seeing this area so dead on a Friday, especially when it started to feel like life was coming back to normal towards the end of summer. It's kind of unfortunate that these businesses will once again start to suffer financially, and employees are going to have limited and reduced hours. Some are probably even going to be laid off. It is what it is, I guess. The City of Toronto's top doctor is actually recommending that there is no more indoor dining for the time being. That is just a recommendation. She also recommended that people stay home unless it's essential that they leave the house. Well, nuts to that. I think people are going to need to get outside and get their exercise, which is kind of what I'm doing. Those heat lamps look like a real nice idea. It would certainly be even more necessary if indoor dining comes to an end. And this is the intersection of King and Spadina.
That's just subconscious.
I wish I had a nice camera with me. That's a pretty awesome shot right there. Oh, nice still camera. The low light level performance on this thing isn't good enough to do that justice. And in case you're wondering, I think yesterday it was reported the city of Toronto had 323 new virus cases and the province was over 700. And I think there's still a backlog of tests that need to be performed. And another of the province's new measures is that as of October 6th, all testing will need to be done by appointment only. That actually makes a lot of sense rather than having people just randomly turn up to the testing centers and get into long lines. I never really understood any situation that has people lining up for a long time. You'd think it would be much smarter at least to have take a number system or leave your phone number and have them call you when it's your turn. I know I'd rather be free to roam the neighborhood or wait around the block and get a call when you're 10 minutes out, but I guess this appointment only thing solves that problem. I remember living in Korea, most places did operate on those measures. You'd go to a bank and instead of queuing up like you do here, you would just simply take a number and sit down, grab a coffee. It was kind of a really smart way to handle queues and lineups. Oh, there's a bar hop. I didn't even know they had a location here. And the sign says open, but they're obviously getting ready to shut down for the night, as are most of these places, I bet. It's 10:25, so 35 minutes to last call. If the idea behind the measures were to keep people in, that definitely seems to be working. Because I'm pretty sure I've been through here a number of times, even in the freezing cold, and the area was still quite packed. Whoops, I forgot to look out for that marble restaurant. Just up ahead will be Restaurant Row, and on Peter Street to the right, recently the Wayne Gretzky restaurant closed for good. It was something of an icon in this area. It's just down there on the left. And in behind it is the Second City Live. And they will be relocating to new digs down at 1 York Street, occupying a space which I believe was originally to be a Target location. But of course, Target rather famously pulled out of Canada. They leased a bunch of former Zellers locations, which was a Canadian-owned, I guess, discount or Walmart-like or Target-like would be more accurate shop, and Target opened up a whole bunch of locations in a hurry. And the locations weren't really like their US counterparts. I did go to a few myself, and they were often plagued by empty shelves, So that experiment didn't last very long. There's another neat view of the tower. Restaurant row is getting shorter and shorter. I don't know if the new retail here will be occupied by restaurants once these new buildings go up. And one of the restaurants that recently closed was just up here on the right. I don't know what the COVID violations were. But it's certainly a little sad to see this area so dead again, right after it started to come back to life. There it is. Sort of sign in. No, I don't see any signage announcing the city-mandated closure. And people are always asking me what my favorite Indian restaurant is in Toronto during live streams. And this is one of the few that I've been to often enough to know that I quite like it. It is buffet style though, so I don't know how they're faring during this.
Because it was around this time.
And we are at Yonge Street. So just to the north of here, I'll be walking by is the Fox and the Fiddle, which is always a very busy pub. And I can already see there's a large crowd in front of it now. I was about to say, if that wasn't busy right now, there would definitely be a serious problem. Or I guess a pretty good indication that things are dead once again. Of course, if the city of Toronto's top doctor had her way, none of these people would be out here except the essential workers, which I think is a bit extreme. I would actually go the other way. I don't know what all these people are doing here. They're not here for the bar. It looks like maybe a film shoot. Someone noticed the camera. I think this condo is pretty funky, although it's not lit up, so I doubt you can see much of it. And yeah, this Fox and the Fiddle is quite dead. This would be absolutely rammed at this hour. They even have a bunch of heat lamps, it looks like. And by dead, I mean it's not even open. I have to wonder if they were shut down as well, or what? Because why wouldn't they at least stay open till 12? And this is Adelaide Street. Hooters appears to be open. So I will continue walking north on John up to Queen. We'll check that out, then I'll head over to Yonge Street. Then I'll pop into a subway station and put on my shrunken mask. The mask I have with me is a cloth mask, and I stupidly threw it in the wash. And I didn't notice that it had shrunk until I brought it out tonight, as I hadn't worn it since. And it kind of squeezes my ears really tightly. It makes them stick out. It's quite funny looking. So if I can't stretch it back out, this will probably be the end of that mask. I know this is the kind of quality commentary that brings you back to this channel. I see some fires going at the Town Crier pub. That's kind of neat. There's the old office pub, which is now closed on the right. I think this block isn't going to be here much longer. And this large building on the left that houses a movie theater, formerly known as the Paramount, is also scheduled for redevelopment, which is kind of surprising. This is where the old clubbing district used to be. Where I started this walk down King Street, it's where all the nightclubs tend to be these days, but they used to be in this area. That's the ballroom. It used to be a bar called Montana. It's a bowling pub. I don't see many customers in there. I do hear music that's likely to get copyrighted though, so it's entirely possible I end up muting that section. I'm just gonna cross here to get away from that music. There's the look east down Richmond Street. And this is the old Chum City building, formerly home of Much Music and City TV. So just up ahead is Queen Street. I'll turn right and head on over to Yonge. There are a few bars off to the left I'd like to walk by, but it's not really on the way. Like the Horseshoe and the Rivoli. There's somebody's Uber or Lyft.
I still don't know why you did it all the way down there.
Doors over here.
And now I'm walking east on Queen Street West.
А он сейчас снялся, у него еще один какой-то фильм.
Normally it's marijuana shops with the lineup, but that was a wine store. And this is the warehouse on the left. They have a rather large patio space. But I guess if they can comfortably seat their 100 people inside, given that it's so cold, there's not much reason to use the patio. Normally there'd be a very long line there at this time. They're definitely going to have to invest in some heat lamps. Are you kidding me? Nice driving. You're not supposed to start turning until it's clear. Honestly, this feels a lot more like you'd expect at 2 a.m. than before 11 p.m. Starting to feel a lot more like April or May back when things were relatively dead everywhere. I'll have to come down here during the daytime and check out some of these streets, perhaps on Sunday afternoon. If there is good news, it's that the death rates seem to be significantly lower than they were earlier. I got a nice waft of some marijuana smell there. And I think that's attributed to a much reduced viral load when people do get infected, thanks to the masks and other measures. And we do have better treatments in place. Most of the deaths, I do believe, are still attributed to old age centers. So maybe if we don't get a vaccine, this will eventually get reduced to a seasonal flu type variety. Although I'm not a virologist. I can't even say that right now. So my opinion's about as meaningless as anything. Are they preparing for Halloween over there? And this is University Avenue with the financial district just to the southeast. So this part of Queen is going to get a little dark until I get to City Hall. Someone's having fun in their vet. So now it'll be off to see how things are on Yonge Street, probably as equally depressingly dead as King Street and Queen Street were. I guess one big side effect or impact of these new measures is that people from out of town or the suburb areas like Mississauga are probably that much less likely to come into the city knowing they're only going to get to have fun till 11 or 12. It's really not worth their effort. And this is York Street. You could take this all the way down to Lake Ontario. It'll run right through the financial district. There's got to be people hanging out at the Toronto sign. I'd be shocked if there was no one there. There's a look at the new City Hall. Come on, get off the sidewalk. What are you doing? Oh, these food stalls are dead. Some of them are pretty damn good. Although not all of the regulars seem to be here. This is a relatively minor detour. I won't spend too much time here since I've recorded this area fairly often. There are definitely some interesting colors on the new sign. A definitely skinnier and less playful looking sign. I've expressed that opinion before. Some have disagreed and said they think it looks better than the old one. I definitely think it's a downgrade. It's not growing on me, but it is what it is. Also, the spacing of the letters is too far apart. I'll just commit to that being my last criticism of this sign on the channel, since if you watch my other videos, you know it probably bugs me. That's the old Trump Tower glowing there. Who apparently earlier today was checked into a hospital. So hopefully he's able to fully recover. You never wish ill against anybody. You get a nice big sausage there for $4 Canadian. And drummer guy isn't here. There's usually a guy right on this little island here, banging away. There's the old City Hall. And just up ahead is the Eaton Center, Saxford Avenue on the right, the Eaton Center on the left, and the Bay on the right as well. I'll just stay on this side of the street as that gas-powered e-bike conversion rolls by. And it is chiming at 10:45. I came by here the other night on a live stream and I think it was 12:30 and it was ringing. And there are some condos very close to here, so that'd be rather annoying, as cool as it is. I think their battery's dead. That's a look southbound Bay Street. Once upon a time, somebody decided to park their bike in front of the Eaton Center. Probably did that earlier tonight. You really must not love your bike if you're going to leave it parked up in a place like that for any period of time in this city. So next stop, Yonge Street.
Here, like 2 hours later, I'm in the street. It's still 5 degrees.
All right. I guess it's safer to have an external speaker than wear headphones. I'll at least give them that. There's a look south down Yonge Street.
So far, like, how did he chase us all the way here? We're so close to crossing at the right time.
There's a mindless zombie for you. Walking down the left side of the street, eyes glued to the phone. What happens when two people like that come across each other? Do they get angry when someone walks into them? Because I don't really think they have an argument for doing so. Is he trying to rob a bank? You hear a car like that, you expect to see something a little more special than a Hyundai. I hope they don't have to close down at midnight. There's the Three Brewers pub, starting to empty out. Man, that's a slow-moving group of people. I even stopped to give them some room, and they barely separated themselves. So this is Dundas Square. It looks like the LA Lakers are currently up 99 to 86 over the Heat. Oh, that lady has asked me for cutlery on 3 different occasions. I think that's her thing for some reason. I don't know what the deal is. It's amazing to think that in 2020 that guy looks completely normal. I wonder if there's time travelers walking among us right now from the past, scratching their head, just going, WTF. Maybe I'll cross over to the other side. And I will head up to College Station, which is just a few blocks to the north of here. That's the Ryerson Student Learning Center across the street. Normally there's a large crowd of people on those steps. Tonight, not so much. Maybe that police car has something to do with it. Here's an impatient driver.
I don't have this.
Good job. And Zanzibar is not lit up as they are not allowed to be open. It's rather iconic facade here in the city. If that place ever does get closed down, I hope they at least maintain that presence, because Yonge Street certainly wouldn't feel the same without it. And at night, when it's lit up, it gives a nice sort of cyberpunk vibe to it. In fact, on a nice foggy day, you do sort of get those Blade Runner-esque vibes walking around this area. And this is Gerrard Street. So I'll be ducking into the subway 1 block north of here. If the City of Toronto asks, I'm on essential business right now. And just here on the left are the shops at Aura. I did a video called Toronto's Dead Mall. And it did quite well. You can find that one on the channel if you're curious. I really hope we're able to turn this back around in the near future, as it's going to be a bit depressing if all the night walks kind of have a similar vibe to this going on, especially considering it's a Friday night. These are usually the ones I enjoy recording the most.
Got lost, huh?
I guess he's taking photographic evidence that he made his delivery. That's weird. And it is now 11 p.m. So no more drinks are to be served. Wonder what happens if you order your drink at 10:59. Are they not allowed to put it on your table after 11? If I were in charge, I would just get rid of the silly last call system and just let businesses operate whatever hours they want. There's another victim, I guess. That bike's not going to be there too long. So this is Yonge and College. That's Carlton Street on that side. So like West Down College. I'm just going to throw my mask on now. It squeezes my ears. Don't laugh if you see me. Whoa, it almost blew off. That wouldn't have been good. Okay, let's head down into the station. There's a reflective surface here. Let me see if I look stupid. Oh, this here looks all right. Give you a look. It's the least I could do for how long you've watched this video until now. Provided you didn't just skip ahead to that moment. In which case, please unsee that. Are we taking bets? Which one will close first? And I heard someone walking. Ooh, another race going on with these doors. And the one on the right wins. They're looking for a door to breed, to create baby doors. Pick the one on the right there. That's how they do it with horses, right? Hopefully that's not a northbound train I hear right now. And it was. Excellent. All right, I hope you enjoyed this second wave night walk through downtown Toronto. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. There are links to my Patreon account and Instagram account and my other channel, Johnny Stumbles. Don't forget to subscribe to that one and this one. Thanks again, and I will catch you on the next one.